Okay, more questions. We learned so many things. Yeah.
There's the one about the man with mutilated genitals cannot marry.
Yes.
And what if there's a woman who wants to marry him anyway?
So they're not allowed to marry, and the reason is that sexual union is considered to be like a really important part of marriage. Even if she says it doesn't matter to her, it does. So because of this, he can't marry. Okay, the deeper side of this question and the questions concerning the mamzer would be, why should anyone not be allowed to marry? Which is what I think you were really getting to, like, what if he wants? So, will all people marry? Are 100% of the people in any society married? No. So, marriage is viewed as something that really part of it is divine will, that these people encounter each other and marry each other. Like Hashem is a partner in this. Not the only partner, but a partner. So there are people who, in terms of what's predestined for them, in terms of their role in life, their role in life is not going to include marriage. Most of the time we don't know. We don't know, we just observe this person never married. But sometimes the Torah itself will say, no, in this situation, marriage isn't what they were created for. So this would be classically in the case of the mamzer who did nothing wrong. Remember, the mamzer's parents are the ones who did something wrong. So, but the effect of parents on a child is considered to be genuine enough that the mamzer, so to speak, is born handicapped. So I want to talk about this a little bit. There used to be a theory in psychology called tabula rasa. Do you know what that is? It means the blank tablet, the blank, which the theory was you could take any child and raise them in environment A, and he'll turn out like any other child in environment A. Put him in environment B, he'll turn out like any child in environment B. Does anybody think this anymore? No. Okay, so I'll give you two examples of this. They began looking at this very seriously when they discovered many children who were adopted in the aftermath of the Vietnam War. They took in a lot of Asian children. Who adopts children in America? Tell me about their income, their educational level, the whole works.
Wealthy.
Okay, upper class, well-educated, right? That's who adopts children. A certain percentage of people who adopt children later have their own children or already had their own children. So a study was done in adoptive families who had children either before or after the adoption of the Asian child. The Asian child still does better in math than the Western children. It's fascinating. Like they have, like it's not allowed to be discussed, but they do have informal quotas about how many Asians they're going to take into the math department in Harvard, because like it doesn't look good if they're all Asian. Okay, clear? So this appears to be something genetic rather than something learned. This is true for Southeast Asia. It's also true to a lesser degree, though, for India, which I found it's not true for Japan. It's like,
like the linguistic structure of.
Yeah, it has to do with the brain. It has to do with the brain's actual structure. It has to do with the brain's ability to make paths. It has to. This isn't like it's an unfinished story. There's not enough on this yet. Similarly, a child of two alcoholic parents who's adopted at birth, which is not uncommon. Okay, what are the likelihoods that they'll be alcoholic?
Very high.
Higher, how much higher, do you know? 80% higher, that's huge. 80% higher. So there's a lot more heredity than people at one point thought. The environment isn't irrelevant. So in terms of what makes a person who they are, Rambam counts out 5 different things. The first is heredity. The second is environment. The third are potentials that are there, but may or may not be realized. And then you have 2 other things. Choices people make and habits they develop. Okay? So those are the 5 things that make you different than the person sitting next to you. So the Torah is telling you is that there are some things that are in box number 1, the hereditary thing, that normally we as humans can't make judgments on. But the Torah is saying in this situation, yeah, this is the effect of that. So in terms of it not being the child's fault, the same way a child who's born with CP or one arm, it's not their fault. But factually that reflects their challenge in life in terms of who they have to be given this as part of their package. Okay, more questions. You had a question on something.
Yeah, just going back to the previous topic about like mamzer children. Now with family, like the institution of family becoming a little bit more skewed and mixed up, is the prohibition on mamzer children marrying still applicable? Also, this is probably a similar issue, but like let's say somebody has like testicular cancer and they have to get one of their testes removed. Can they not have children or get married?
They probably could get married.
Collectively.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and with mamzer children, the adultery and incest still would be crossing lines that even today's weird society that wouldn't make it easier. I once was at a wedding where the head table was so weird. You have the bride and the groom, right? Next to him are all of his step-parents, half-parents, whatever, 8 people. Next to her, the same amount. There were 16 parents at the like head table. So it was just like, and like everybody was like playing this game of civil. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yes, this is Michael's 3rd wife, Sophia. No, Dolores was his 2nd wife. Okay. No, I'm not Michael's 2nd wife. I'm Herbert's 2nd wife. I'm just pleased to meet all of you. Like, okay. Yeah.
Is it the same case for a woman if she's not able to have children?
No.
So she can still marry?
Right. Now there is an obligation, which again I don't want to go there because it's far from the parsha. You still have questions. For a couple to marry with the intent of having children. So let's say they already have children from previous marriages, so then she could marry. Well, he wouldn't be allowed to marry. But if they haven't had children yet, she would only be allowed to marry a man who, for whatever reason, would be exempt from having children. Either he has his own children, or he's infertile for some reason, or he had, like whatever. Okay, yeah?
What is the issue with this death? How with the one who said, like, why is it like nowadays we see that it actually just happened that without marriage many people have a relationship before.
Yes.
So like it would mean that many people should die, like it's wrong stone. So what?
Okay, so I want to make it clear because I could hear from your question there was inclarity. You have a consensual relationship, but they're not married. That is not a death penalty sin. It's only a death penalty sin if, in this case, you have a married woman, the man could be single or married, so it's like it's prejudiced against men. That's called adultery, and there's a death penalty. But if they're single, there's no death penalty. Okay, now the exception to that, where it's still not a death penalty, but a more severe thing than saying this is wrong, is if a man rapes a woman. Okay, but just a single couple living together are doing the wrong thing, but there's no death penalty.